Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mission Dharma Online. Let's see if we can put things back in order here. Happy to see the few faces that are lit up or that are live. The more the merrier. Let people drift in. While we're waiting for the next 10 or 20 people to drop in, you might want to send little blessings to the other faces that you see. See what happens to your heart when you wish others well. Takes very little effort and pretty reliable. Dan, love the dappled light. You win the award 2 weeks in a row. Anyway, I think we can start now, at least saying hello to each other. Feel free to unmute, say good evening, say where you're calling in from if you're so inclined, and just offer your voice so we can hear each other's voices. Hi from Sausalito.
Hi from Berkeley.
Hello from Grass Valley.
Where was Grass Valley?
It's Paul. Hello.
Jason. Thank you.
Hello from San Francisco.
Hi from Victoria.
Hi, Susan. Going to see you very soon.
Are you?
Yeah, October 18th.
Oh my gosh, wonderful.
Weekend retreat.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Katie from the Mission.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Great to see you.
Hi from Maryland.
Hi, Laura.
Hi from San Francisco.
Where was that?
Right here.
Hi, Greg. Welcome.
Thanks.
From Oakland.
Hey, Helen.
Hi.
Hello from San Francisco.
Hi from Regina.
All right. I can't see who's from Regina, but I hear you. Anyway, glad to see you. Glad to hear your voices. Each of you is participating and calling all of us to the living present, which is so different from past and future, which are imaginary and mental. Wonderful that we can think about them, but future, past don't really exist. So it's always nice to contact the more living reality. Some would say that being online is not a living reality, but I say, I'm feeling as though I'm coming alive and seeing you and being with you and hearing your voices really calls us here. And now that you're here, you might want to take note of how you're feeling right now in your body. It's kind of a moment of reflection to feel the residue of your day, and a time to recognize that the past has passed and that the future is just a dream. Time to come to rest your weary mind in this simple experience of your senses, seeing everyone, feeling your body, hearing whatever's heard, smelling or tasting if there's that possibility. Utilizing all of our senses, not just our mental door of perception, not just our thoughts. So it might be a good time to engage your hearing that requires the physical ear, the sound, and then consciousness. And we'll start with Madison's gong. Further bursting the bubble of our preoccupations. Hearing it a little bit more intimately the second time around. The third time now fully empty, welcoming of life right where it connects with us. Letting the eyes close softly. If you find it helpful, shifting from side to side or front to back till you find a center point, place where it's most easy to let the body go, let it melt into the openness of your practice. Let it melt in such a way that there's no dividing line between sitting body and the space of awareness. Just one taste. It's as though the space of awareness is breathing. It's breathing all of us. Just letting ourselves be breathed and using the body's experience of life's breath as a call to this, as an anchor to this present moment. Making no effort to breathe, no effort to direct or control the breath, just letting the body be breathed. And breath by breath, noticing how we are gently, without any strain or struggle, gently emptying of time and filling ourselves with our immediate experience. Just this moment, just this breath. Feeling it through the body, noticing where it feels most clear, at the nostril, the chest, the belly, or the whole body as it gently expands and contracts. Just sitting in the middle of it all and breathing. Knowing that this simple experience of settling back into the moment itself is the letting go of this tumultuous attempt to gather, to become. Remembering that all of our life is resolved in this present moment. no higher mountain to climb than this one breath, this sitting body, or any other experience that lights up in your awareness. Each sound calls us here, each mood calls us here, each sensation calls us here, each thought calls us here if we are aware. Everything is a reminder of our love of being here, if we can notice it. This present time awareness supported by the body and breath, because they're here. Maintaining awareness through the duration of the in-breath, the duration of the out-breath, maintaining awareness or attention even in the spaces between the breath, the gaps. No break in the continuity of attention. But if there is a gap and we realize that we've been lost in thought, unaware, that moment of recognition is a moment of mindfulness coming back online, a moment of knowing. And at that time, we make no judgment about it. We just notice we're aware again, and we have the opportunity to open to the presently arising experience. Apprehend the body, apprehend the breath, apprehend the sounds, whatever it is. Just this moment. begin the meditation right now. Remember that mindfulness has no destination, so every moment is a new beginning. And always begin again. Body, breath, sounds, moods, everything welcome. This vast, inclusive space of awareness. I'm glad to sit with you. Glad to see you now. I lost my power. Maybe that was obvious. I don't know. Maybe all of you missed it, but high drama on my end. I was down to one little candle, and we thought we weren't getting power until 10 tonight, but it came on. So life conspired to support us. So it was a little bit exciting. At first, it was like, shoot, a little obstacle here. But then it became rather exciting to think of just meeting under candlelight, and somehow it took the edge off. But whatever. Anyway, glad it came back on. Catherine, I hope I'm not still on Spotlight, or I am.
You are not. Sorry, I did that. There were other people clicking in, so I wanted it to be on you, but I didn't realize that you were having issues.
Okay, no worries. We do have a little time, though, to check in to see what may be brewing in your life in regard to practice. Anything you noticed tonight, any questions, comments, topics, please feel free, and know that whatever you're thinking about or wondering about and share out loud will be of some benefit to someone else. So anyone want to share what's happening, or question, comment, description? Howie G.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, great to see you. Thanks for breaking the ice.
Sure. It was very nice this sitting just now, but I kept on being distracted because tomorrow's my anniversary, and I just ran out and bought a bunch of greeting cards, which I am kind of obliged to do, otherwise I get in big trouble every year. And I realized that the time that I spend sitting is very precious, but it's also kind of the time that my mind gets an opportunity to do the things that doesn't usually get a chance to do, which is, like, I found myself composing these writing like composing these emotional thoughts, and just totally in my head and going in the future and time tripping, and when 30 years ago when we got married, all this stuff, which is sort of contrary to, if there's a goal. It's not contrary, but you know what I mean.
Well,
It could take place.
It's what minds do. We just put
Yeah.
it to good use. We just,
Yeah, but it could take place at other times. Even though I am sort of a last minute kind of a get ready for anniversary guy. You think I have
sometimes it takes a little renunciation, but mostly we just welcome it. You just don't extend it. Just notice that's what the mind is doing right now, which is, it's very fertile when it's quiet. And
that's what I've discovered. I mean, it's a nice, it's a, when I feel best, it's also kind of like fertile's the word. It's like a launch pad for things, for emotions, for thoughts, for things, and I just wanted to mention it.
no, thanks for naming that. And in fact, I don't know if maybe you weren't here last week, but someone presented a similar description of their mind just starting to really proliferate with a lot of creativity. I think it was a writer or something like that.
I can't remember if I was there last week.
Anyway, it's inevitable to a certain degree, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but on one hand, it is a creative, fertile ground of of many possibilities at that moment, and it kind of opens it up. But it's also not an accident, the kinds of things that we think about, that they're relevant to what we've been practicing during the day or what we've been thinking about. And whatever you frequently think about and dwell upon, that becomes the mind's inclination. And so that's what shows up as our stream of consciousness. And then whatever we do right now as a habit or as a planting of seeds, that becomes our future mind moment. So there will be mind moments where you just fall into silence and noticing. And there will be moments that you fall in because you've practiced it. And as well, moments where you're writing cards. So how amazing. Anyway, glad to see you and hear you. Anybody else? Howard, 3 Howards. Howard, you have to unmute though.
Yes, yes, thank you. Too many Howards in the world. No, there are never enough Howards in the world, actually. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I got here late, as quite frequently happens with my senior mind. I forget things until the last minute, and things have been rather chaotic. I just want to say I'm very happy to be here. My life has been undergoing huge change in the last 6 months, painful change, suffering change. And I'm very happy for it because it's making me a very different person. And suddenly my heart is opening. I'm feeling a lot of sadness and joy. And I've always been very solitary, and now I'm sort of enjoying finding out the meaning of Sangha. I'm out of Vancouver. I'm very remote out of Vancouver and don't have any Sangha here. And I go into Vancouver. I saw you last Victoria. That's my senior mind. I saw you last December in Victoria, and that was very nice. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just very happy to be here. I'm grateful to be on this journey, and
well,
thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks for sharing your heart. I think everybody got a transmission of your tenderness, and
thank you.
And we catch it from people who have it, and so thank you. And I'm sorry for whatever difficulties the moments that have been very hard, but I understand you've put them to good use. It sounds like, and
very good use. Nothing for you to be
your
sorry
heart.
about. Nothing for you to be sorry about. It's all of somebody's doing. I don't know whose doing it is, but it's all to a purpose that I haven't quite grasped yet, but I'm on a path to somewhere, and it's very exciting, and I'm glad to be here. That's all. Are you coming to Victoria again this December?
To Victoria. I was just mentioning to someone earlier in the call that I'm coming to Victoria on October 18th. I'm coming to lead a retreat in Vancouver on November 20th.
Oh, well, I'll be there for sure then. Thank you. Good. See you there.
Anyway, take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Well, Howard spoke of senior mind tonight, and I wanted to, while it was fresh, I wanted to talk a little bit about my mother. My mother, I just returned from visiting with her yesterday, and she is 98. And first and foremost, I know how blessed I am to have a 98-year-old mother. Most people my age are orphaned already. So I don't take that for granted. It's very special to have a 98-year-old mother. but I also wanted to talk about what it's like for me as a teaching, because she is certainly modeling a lot of different things, but the most obvious is the heavenly messenger of aging. You can see that if you have the good fortune to be around older beings, we diminish. Human beings, all creatures diminish, and she is now, I think she said, what, maybe 1,000 times a day because she couldn't hear me. And so she's losing her hearing. She is losing her eyesight. She had a very difficult time seeing. And has a very keen aesthetic, and not to be able to see is a big loss for her. Her mobility is somewhat impaired, although we took 4 days of walks in the park where I held her hand, and so she could walk almost normally if she held my hand. And that was a joyous event for both of us for me to walk through the world at her pace, which is, very, very deliberate and in no rush. Although on the downhill, she tried her version of jogging, which was quite fun and adorable. But being with her was a reminder of the reality of aging. And it just taught me, it reminded me, it became a springboard to lean into the daily reflections on impermanence. And in fact, I was chanting, and partly because of the way she is handling her aging, I was chanting the traditional chant that's done in monasteries all across the world, the Theravada monasteries, Theravada Buddhist monasteries, or they chant every day, Anicca Vada Sankara Upadavaya Dhammino Upakitva Niruchanti Desang Upasamo Sukho. And in some ways, it's a impermanence chant, but it's also a chant about happiness, and say all things are impermanent, they arise and they pass away. To be in harmony with this truth brings great happiness, brings sukha. It's the cause of happiness to be in harmony with this, rather than getting the rope burn of clinging to youth and health and life. Speaking of life, I made a few notes about some of my mother's. On one hand, she would say when she couldn't see, or when she had to stop, or, the things that were difficult for her to manage, she said, "This is the pits." That was her version of complaining. And then she said, "No, I don't complain, and I'm really grateful. I'm grateful. And each day we ate breakfast together, drank some coffee, ate some blueberries, ate raisin toast with almond butter on it. I know this is very much a personal thing, but to see and hear the delight that she took in her coffee, the delight she took in her blueberries, the delight she took in the almond butter on her toast. It was as though she was eating it for the first time, or maybe it was some sense that she might be eating it for the last time. But in either case, if we were able to approach the things and she literally eats the same thing every day. she confided to a fellow who drove me to the airport, same person who occasionally drives her to the doctor's office or to the store to pick up something. She confided in him. She didn't speak this way to me, that as she goes to different places, she realizes it may be the last time. So she's attuned to it, but doesn't speak to me that way. But the way she shows the poignancy of her life is that she takes just wondrous delight in her coffee and in her blueberries and in her almond butter. And last week I spoke of, and also with Howie G tonight, a little bit about, if you want to understand your past, look at your present experience. If you want to understand your future, look at your present actions. And now for me, that being with her just made me want to keep planting that seed of reflection on all things are impermanent. They arise and they pass away. But it also made me realize that how one thinks about, how one approaches, what we practice in how we approach sickness, aging, dying, things not being as easy as they used to be. How we approach that is very fluid. It's optional. We can actually incline our hearts to have a good attitude, her attitude of gratitude, her attitude of delight. Her attitude is, I don't complain. Additionally, every single night of her life, she has a nerve pain from stenosis that keeps her up through the night. So she has a hard night every night. But then she says, I have good days, so she forgets about it during the daytime. That isn't an accident. That is the way her mind inclines. And that may have been her temperament naturally a little bit, to just take delight in things and not complain. And she's pretty wise. But even if you have the opposite tendency to complain and to personalize, make it all about you, be grumpy. You can, depending on the seeds that you plant, depending on how you incline your mind, you can orient toward gratitude, toward appreciation, toward seeing the poignancy of our life, breathing as though you're taking your first breath or your last breath, walking as though you may never be able to take a walk again. So to feel that sense of poignancy and urgency to seize this life and move in that direction rather than being so grumpy about it. Anyway, it was a transmission and a teaching, and she certainly wasn't busy trying to be a cool mom, but she is, and I realize her spirit lives in me, and I'll carry that. I don't know when the next time I'll see her, and when we said goodbye, we're not the most touchy-feely family. And I taught my whole family to say, I love you. Everybody says it now after it became more comfortable for me. Now everybody says it. But, I said goodbye to my mom, and then I saw her a little bit later in the evening. And in some ways, against type, she opened her arms. And, and I hugged her, and I always hug her, but the fact that she opened her mind, she was wanting a little bit more, or she was feeling that sense of poignancy, that who knows when we will see each other. if we could only wake up in the morning and seize our day, our life with that kind of understanding. That's why it's the Buddha recommended that you contemplate every day. I'm sure to become old, I can't avoid aging. I'm sure to become ill, can't avoid illness. I'm sure to die, I can't avoid death. I'm sure to become separated from all that I hold near and dear. My actions are my relations. My actions are the womb out of which I'm born moment to moment. The appreciation of karma. And to me, the appreciation of karma is not just you can't get away with anything. That's true too, but it's more the possibility of planting the seeds of action that bring us can bring us more balance, more joy, more ability to care, more ability to join in others with joy, we can plant the seed to come out of the calamity of separate existence, to get out of ourselves enough for the heart to flow with love, to flow with compassion, to flow with altruistic or sympathetic joy when we see somebody happy, that we're not caught in envy and jealousy, but we really join in their happiness, and we can plant the seed of equanimity to be able to have an understanding, a balance, a impartial love that can even include the politicians that we have such a hard time with. And all of that is at our fingertips, really, or is however it is that we meet this present moment. So I brought along, if I can find it, I brought along my favorite poem about aging. It's a funny poem. It's from Larry Miller. It's often been attributed to George Carlin, misattributed to George Carlin, but it is something George Carlin would share. And it reminds us to seize the moment, to not get too caught up in becoming. He says, do you realize, but it also speaks to my mom's, I want to tell you one more thing before I read this. So she's 98, and she told me that she doesn't want to start getting old until she's 106. And then she wants to live till she's 109, because her uncle lived to 109, and he had all his marbles at 109. That's her words. Still had his marbles. So this is Larry Miller. Do you realize that the only time in our lives when we like to get old is when we're kids? If you're less than 10 years old, you're so excited about aging that you think in fractions. How old are you? I'm 4.5. You're never 36.5. You're 4.5 going on 5. That's the key. You get into your teens, now they can't hold you back. You jump to the next number, or even a few ahead. How old are you? I'm gonna be 16. You could be 13, but hey, you're gonna be 16. And then the greatest day of your life, you become 21. Even the word sounds like a ceremony. You become 21, yes. But then you turn 30. Ooh, what happened there? Makes you sound like bad milk. He turned. We had to throw him out. There's no fun now. You're just a sour dumpling. What's wrong? What changed? You become 21. You turn 30. Now you're pushing 40. Whoa, put on the brakes. It's all slipping away before you know it. Before you know it, you reach 50 and your dreams are gone. But wait, you make it to 60. You didn't think you would. So you become 21, turn 30, push 40, reach 50, and make it to 60. You've built up so much speed that you hit 70. After that, it's a day-to-day thing. You hit Wednesday. You get into your 80s and every day is a complete cycle. You hit lunch. You turn 4:30. You reach bedtime. And it doesn't end there. Into your 90s, you start going backwards. I was just 92. Then a strange thing happens when you make it over 100. You become a little kid again. I'm 100.5. May you all make it to a healthy 100.5. Any comments, questions about aging, about planting seeds, about wise reflection? Madison, please.
Hi, Howie. Thank you for the talk. As someone who fights and complains about aging, I remember meeting your mom at your 60th birthday party and thinking she looked incredibly young. And so I have held her in my mind as this very polished, suave, sophisticated young woman. And so when you speak, I notice myself resisting that she should be 98 and having any issues whatsoever, because I want to keep the lady from the 60th birthday. I think it was your 60th birthday
Yes.
when the Sangha gave you a party and your mom was there. So this is a huge topic, but I really fight it and I don't like it. And I'm not in the category of wanting to be 100. I would like to be maybe 6 more months. And then I said to the acupuncturist today, I'd be happy to die sorting somebody's shoes in their closet next week. So I'm not aiming for the big numbers. And I'm just wondering what comments you have. That I don't mean that I'm complaining every day about age-related stuff, but I haven't taken it well. And if somebody uses the word senior moment, I want to shake them and say, don't use that word. And if you don't use that word, you won't experience a senior moment. So I've had a lot of resistance to this stuff. And I know it's basic Buddhism 101, that those were the 4 messengers. So I don't know. I'd love some other comments, because I don't think one can go from the negative view to the positive view at the flip of a switch. But I do think it's a very complex topic in this country at this time.
Thank you.
Because people used to die at 40. Yeah.
That's right. No, yeah, we're definitely living longer. No, thank you for speaking honestly about your own relationship to life, aging, etc. It just reminded me of I think it's a wonderful thing that when we come to some kind of peace with the fact that the fact that we're going to die, or that you're okay if it happens, you're okay if you die. So on one hand, 6 months you die organizing somebody's closet. That's wonderful, but it also depends on the engine that's driving that okayness with dying. is it one of the three ways that craving presents itself in our life, which actually is a cause of stress for us? There's the craving for sense pleasures. There's the craving for becoming. That's when we're busy trying to be somebody. But then there's the craving for non-becoming. There's the craving to make things stop. And that's equally a cause of stress. And it can actually make us quite, the shadow side of that is an aversion to life. And so if you could, I don't know whether this fits you or not, but if you could actually notice those moments, even though you can make them tongue in cheek as you talk to your acupuncturist or whatever, but if you could notice those moments and see if there isn't within them a little bit of wishing it was over, and turn that into a moment of really savoring just that moment. You don't have to make it into a big project. That moment, turn it into the moment of really taking in the sights, sounds. So out of the story of Madison and aging and all of that, let it draw you right into you and I talking right now. Just out of the story into just the direct experience of it. If you did that over and over, each time you saw yourself complain, or each time you wanted to shake somebody, or each time you wanted to say something to somebody, you turned it into opening of your senses, you might see a little bit of a different relationship to life. And you may still be okay with dying, but it wouldn't be the desire for non-becoming. It wouldn't be a desire to die. It would be, I'm at peace with my life. And I think that's possible for you. I think it's possible for anybody. And I'd love to see you play with that a little bit. Anyway, thanks for speaking up. Always appreciate your voice of honesty and wisdom. Stephen, please feel free.
Thank you. I have the same issue about aging. And a lot of it is like an inflated sense of myself. At least that's what my friend said. I know I'll be 75 in about 6 months, and my mother died at 75. And I was going to breakfast with my friend on Sunday, and I looked through the window. He didn't know who I was, and he said, "Who is that old man looking through the window?" And it kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. And I don't really know what to say about it, except that, like Jack Cornfield said many times, your face becomes old, but your mind stays the same. And, I just can't even believe that I'm going to be 75, because in my mind, I'm about 58, but I don't really, but it's, like I said, it's an inflated sense of ego. I'm aware of it.
And what's I don't get where the inflated sense of ego is. Like, you mean?
I think I look a lot younger than I actually look.
Ah, I see.
I think I'm married. I'm very happily married, and I got the best wife possible. But, I would say that there's still an ego part that likes to flirt. And I think I'm an invisible flirter now, unless it's a person that's really old. I remember I went to a restaurant, and there was about an 88-year-old lady that was very attracted to me. And she kind of held the door, didn't let me go to the bathroom. I don't know. It's all ego, it's totally ego, and it's not accepting, where I'm at. And
Well, it's great that you notice it and just recognize it as ego, and doesn't make you a bad person. It's just the way, we get identified with youth. That's the reason they're those heavenly messengers. We get enchanted or intoxicated with youth, intoxicated with health, intoxicated with life, and we cling to it. And so to be honest about that clinging is, to me, it's, as Francois Fenelon said, you only understand your malady when the cure begins. Maybe that's a springboard to letting go a little bit. But
I think I have a lot to let go of in that area.
yeah, all of us have a little. We cling to one of those three, what are called the three prides. It's just kind of built into our conditioning. So go
Well,
easy. Go
let go
easy
with
on yourself.
Hope I can let go with my meditation.
Great. Just moment to moment. Easier than you think. Take care.
Thank you.
Mary, please feel free.
Sorry.
No
Oh,
problem.
I wanted to share something about my mom, who I was very blessed to have a really great mom. But I wanted to say something first to somebody that was talking that I've had some knee problems, and unfortunately, like about a week ago, I twisted my ankle. So I was kind of feeling real sort of kvetchy, complaining kind of thing. And, this always works for me all the time. I just kind of count all my blessings on my fingers. And the more I count, the more I realize, how blessed I am. I mean, we take so much for granted that we can see, we can hear, we have food, we can walk.
Well
It
said.
starts to get down to real big. But really, when I'm done with that, then I'm not complaining so much. Anyway, it works for me. But
Great.
I did.
Wonderful.
But you sound like you have a great mom too, and I was really blessed with an exceptional mother. And I want to tell you, I really miss her. And
Sorry.
I'd give anything to have coffee with my mom again. But anyway, she got congestive heart failure, and she had I was taking her to the doctor, and she literally had a heart attack in the hallway, and we had to rush her to emergency. She was in intensive care, and she didn't make it after a couple of weeks. And I was, kind of in shock because, when those things happen very suddenly and very quickly, they're hard to, I think a little harder to deal with than, something that you adjust to when someone's, ill. It was very sudden, let's put it that
Yes.
way. And, but like on her last day, I was kind of getting, kind of very anxious and upset because I was starting to realize she was going to die, and that was unacceptable sort of in my mind and heart. But to the very last minute, my mother taught me how to live. And she realized I was having a difficult time and took my hand or whatever and said, "You know what, honey? I've had a good long life. I'm ready to go." And I thought, oh my God, I should die with such grace as that.
Gorgeous,
So,
gorgeous.
yeah, I hope I will. I don't know. I'm kind of the greedy kind. I like living.
Yeah. Well, I think we practice dying by dying into life, by really doing what you do, count your blessings, take your walks on the beat, what the things that draw you into
Yeah.
just really entering into life. That's, I think the way we live is the way we die.
Oh, well, that's good to hear anyway. So, but enjoy your mom. She sounds so wonderful. And honestly,
Thank
I
you.
miss my mom all the time. When you have a really great mom, you really miss them. I had to laugh at one thing though that you were saying about your mom, because it's such a mom thing to do, that she would tell her driver about a problem, but you don't tell your kids, even when they're all grown up.
Yeah. Even
Very
though
mom.
she generally tells me all her other problems, but that's really, that really poignant stuff,
Yeah.
a little harder for her to say to me.
Right. So she sounds fabulous, and wow, 96. I'm very impressed.
98,
That's
98.
98. You've got great genes. 98 and a half, maybe.
Exactly. Anyway, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Howie.
Thanks for sharing your teachings.
Thank you for everything, for sharing the stories about your mom, too. Really lovely.
Thank you. Susan, last but not least.
Okay. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Howie and everyone else. I don't think I've ever spoke on this group with this group before, but your story about your mom just, wow, it was just so beautiful to hear, just about enjoying that first sip of coffee in the morning. And it's funny because I think someone mentioned 75. I'm going to be 75 next month myself, and I can't believe it. Like, wow, how did I get? How did I
get here so fast?
It's just, to me, it's just fascinating. And although for most of my life I've been pretty vain, and but the interesting thing about, as I'm getting older, I find that I enjoy the small things in my life more and more. I mean, over this past year, noticing little tiny flowers on my walks that I've never noticed before, and meeting the people on the street, with my dogs, and meeting other people with their dogs, and for me, it's just fascinating how amazing just a simple life is. I mostly have been retired, from what I did as work for quite a few years now, but I still have this part-time work, where I'm with people, who are dying. I'm with them, and I get to witness and be with people. So what I think about death all the time, but not in a morbid way, but just in a real curious way. I was just having conversation with a friend this morning about hearing about people talking about, you die how you live. And I knew this woman who, at her memorial a few months ago, the neighbors description of her was that she was the neighborhood's curmudgeon, which was her personality. But then yet, at the last 6 weeks of her life, her daughter said she was unrecognizable. She was like completely gentle, appreciative, and kind, for the last 6 weeks of her life.
Incredible.
And that was not her. So something happens to people, and I have no idea how I will face my death. I might, I've watched people fight until the last moment to where you just can't fight anymore, or to people who just sort of embrace the mystery of dying, which is very rare. I've seen very few people actually open themselves to dying, and I have no idea how I will. But and the last thing I want to say is that I was diagnosed with macular degeneration a few years ago.
That's what
For
my
a
mother
year,
has.
yeah, for a year I got frightened, so I denied it. And then, I'm sorry, for a year I denied it, and then for a week, when I finally realized that I did have it, I got afraid. And then one day I just thought, for God's sake, Susan, you can see today. So I decided I'm going to enjoy while I'm seeing. And, if something else happens, then I'll deal with it then, But for today, I can see. It's not perfect, but I can see. So,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway,
Thank you.
thank you for letting me talk for the first
my
time.
pleasure. And thanks for the wisdom that you've accrued through all that you've been through, and the simple things in life, and sitting with people as they're dying. I can tell that it's affected your heart. So thank you.
Howie, someone had their physical hand raised and I didn't see it, and someone just brought it to my attention. I wonder if they could just have a moment if they want to speak. Melinda Costello, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Melinda. Please feel free to unmute and show your face.
Here.
Hey, Melinda. Good to see you.
Hi, you guys too. I hope I can articulate this. I'm so grateful I showed up tonight. I'm was late, but I'm so grateful I did, and thank all of you. Just a sort of a synopsis or whatever the word is. A lot has gone on in my life, and it's been incredibly painful. I was the bad guy and had to end what I felt was a toxic relationship, a 41-year relationship. And I ended that a year and a half ago, and I've never lived alone in my life. And it's not been, well, I'm not alone. I have a little dog in my lap and I have a big dog over there, and they're both in their journey out of this realm. And every day I'm, grieving. I've been grieving it for a while. This little guy is 15 and a half, and my lab is 12 and a half. He's had blood cancer for 4 years and living on prednisone. And, this guy's a crabby old man, the little guy. Anyway, I guess I don't know what I was trying to really say, but I'm just grateful I'm here, and I'm grateful that I found some joy in all of this with you tonight instead of the constant sort of grieving that I've been in. And life is what it is, and I'm going to be 63 this year, on the 24th. And I will always say that I have the same birthday as Howard Zinn. I'm quite proud to share.
Company.
Yeah. But I wasn't supposed to live this long. I was supposed to die when I was a teenager. And here I am, and it's not been an easy life. But I'm gonna be 63, and I'm grateful that I found some joy with all of you tonight. So thank you for letting me.
Thank you. And yeah, sorry for all your losses, but it sounds like you work with it to a point where you can experience grief without aversion. Grief without aversion can feel joyful, actually, learning how to let go. But that's the name of the game for all of us, is how to pull some of the aversion out of our inevitable experiences of loss. So anyway, take care, be well. And I think I'd like to invite everyone at this point to, I guess there's already been some information put in the chat about Donna. You all know the Donna request or invitation. So I don't need to reiterate that, other than deep appreciation for paying it forward to let me keep going to the next week and the next group, and for us to be able to keep going together. It's all based on our mutual generosity. But beyond that, I wanted to announce a half-day retreat in the city in San Francisco on the 24th of the month. You may have noticed it in the bulletin tonight, so take a look at that. And the more the merrier. If people show up, we'll keep doing them. And I know it's like pulling teeth to get people to come back in person, but love to see all of you, as many as we can. So that'll be the 9 to 1 on the 24th of the month. And I think there may still be space at the founders retreat. Some of the founding teachers of Spirit Rock will be leading a retreat in early September. I think it's the 9th to the 14th, something like that. And you can find out through Spirit Rock, but the more the merrier, again, for that. And it's a rare opportunity to one, be on the land, to immerse yourself in silence, to die into life. And the main teachers will be me and James Barras and Sylvia Borstein, and maybe a little cameo from Jack Cornfield, and love to see you there. So, but that's enough for tonight. And please feel free to unmute and say good night to each other. Thank you for the evening.
Night, everybody.
Night. Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night. Thank you,
Night,
everybody.
Night. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Wonderful.
Everyone.
Sweet dreams.
Good night, everybody.
Sweet dreams.
Good night.
Thank you, Howie. Good night, everyone.
Hey,
Pleasure.
everybody. Good night.
Good night. Thanks, Howie.
Thanks, Catherine, for co-hosting wherever you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. Thank you for teaching and thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.
Maureen, good to see you right in the center of my screen.
You're on mute.
Anyway, take care. Howie G, thank you for your breaking the ice and your wisdom teachings.
Thanks to all the Howards.
Yeah, the Howards were really on tonight.
Yes.
Happy anniversary, Howie G.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks very
Happy
much.
What number is it? 41, did you say?
Oh, it's just 30.
30, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a baby in the,
I know, we're late starters.
it's great. Better late than never.
Okay. Good
Take
night.
care. Bye-bye.
Good night.